Well, they're saying Pooh was like he was one of the last young street star rappers that hip hop has seen in a long time. You know, he had the potential to make like at least 10 million this summer just touring.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, he was gone. Yeah, once he got off that monitor and all of that shit, he was about to get to it. So, that's why. And if he would have checked, the track record of Gucci, I think he would have made another decision. Because if you think about it, Cam, just think about the people that were signed to Gucci back in the day. You got who? Nicki Minaj. You got Waka Flocka. Who else you had? Young Thug. He let all these people out the country. When shit got disgruntled and people wanted out, he ain't hold nobody hostage. He let them go. So if Pooh would have went to him the right way, even if he didn't just let you go, I'm sure he would have been willing to work something out number wise, where you could have got up out the deal and still have your freedom.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I mean, yeah, because he did all this, and from what I understand, he's still signed to 1017.
Yeah, he's still signed because you can't make nobody sign something under duress. It won't hold up in nobody's court. And I don't know if they was banking on Gucci Man's reputation and his track record to keep charges from being filed or whatever. I guess they thought Gucci, was so street and so gangster. This WAP we talking about here. I'm thinking they felt like the police could never get involved because WAP would never do that. But this not the same Gucci that we talking about from back in the day. We talking about a Gucci man that takes psych meds in the morning and at night. We talking about the Gucci man that got a caretaker as his wife. We talking about the Gucci man that you ain't heard him have a conversation or heard him hold a conversation in years. All he do is bobble his head up and down. No, So with that being said, we ain't dealing with the same Gucci, so you can't expect them same results. And it showed you in black and white when the paperwork came out. He actually identified 30 and Pooh.
Yes, the paperwork dropped, and yeah, it showed that, and I mean, everybody was really, really surprised, man.
Yeah.
Because there's videos of Gucci going viral now, like,
Yeah,
I'll never snitch.
I never snitch. I ain't never told, and he used to be hard on Jeezy, saying Jeezy, slick toll, and all of this, and you turn around. I ain't never seen Jeezy name in black and white on no paperwork pointing nobody out. Ever.
Right.
So with that being said, I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because, if you go look at that Breakfast Club interview, his life being ran by his wife. So I'm sure she wanted to see the people that was allegedly involved. I'm sure she wanted to see them in prison. So I think, she probably played a major role in that as well.
What really trips me out about these situations is like, Gucci really didn't even need to snitch. He could have just walked right out, and when the police knocked on his door some days later, he could have just been like, I don't know, I forget.
Yeah.
And they was all gonna snitch, and all the rest of those people were civilians, off-duty cop.
Yeah.
He gotta report it, or he gonna get in real trouble.
He gonna get in trouble. He gonna get in trouble. So
you know what I'm saying? So he didn't even need to snitch.
Nah.
He threw his everything away for really nothing.
For nothing, yeah. All you had to do was say, man, look, y'all talk to my lawyer. That's all he had to say. That's all he had to say.
That's it.
It's just that simple. Y'all talk to my lawyer. But again, I think his wife, she the way she talked, I'm sure when the feds came, she answered the door. Because she run the show. And I'm sure she let him in. I'm sure she don't want her husband being involved in no street shit anymore at this point. So she probably let him in and probably said, babe, the police here. They want to talk to you. Because that's how their relationship goes. It's like she wear the pants over there. So I could see that playing out like that, and she might have intentionally didn't give him his meds that morning, or did give him his meds to make him cooperate. But the old Gucci, the old WAP, I just can't see him doing what he just did the other day.
And you know, they have a detailed account of what happened in the booth. So it's kind of like, how'd they get that detailed account? Because it was only Gucci and them.
Exactly.
From what I understand, the cameraman wasn't in there. His friend wasn't in there. The off-duty cop wasn't in there. It was Gucci, Pooh, and maybe, you know, somebody else with Pooh.
Exactly. So how do they? Pooh didn't tell it.
Right.
His homie didn't tell it. So, you know, they had to come from Gucci, you know. And they already said they don't have no video from inside. So they had to come from Gucci. And, you know, how do you explain that, you know? So it's crazy.
Yes, so you're blaming everything. Well, I don't know if you're blaming everything, but a lot of this is being put on his wife, you know. You know, why do you think his wife has so much influence? And, you know, what about the wife?
I mean, if what she says is true in the interviews about his mental and, you know, him going crazy here and there and having episodes and them having to tie him up, the security team having to tie him up and get him to the hospital. If all of that is true, then yeah, you know, she says she answers his phone for him. She pays his bills. She has all the passwords to his social medias. You know, all of that. She said all of this in the Breakfast Club interview. That's why I say he has a caretaker. So that leads me to believe that she is more than likely behind his decision to cooperate. Because before it actually came out that he cooperated, I was willing to bet my social security number, man. WAP ain't doing no cooperating. He got too much to lose, reputation-wise, you know, in the streets. You know, he deal with some stand-up dudes, you know. I know him and Wack, got a relationship, and, you know, Wack don't tolerate, you know, Wack don't deal with that at all. You know, he got the exposures. So, with that being said, you know, that there had to be her. You know, I just can't see him doing it unless, again, his mind was altered from the medication.
Yeah, it just all around seems like a bad decision. You would think even she would know, like, this is going to be bad for business.
Well, you know, she probably at a point where, you know, she just was probably bitter and upset about what happened to her husband, and that's the only type of revenge that she could get. You know, it's like seeing the people in jail. She ain't gonna suit up and go get the switch and grab no vest and go out there and talk about looking for chopper gangs. So that was the only thing that she could do, was try to make sure that they go to jail. So I think she played a big part in it.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.